Welcome back, punters. We're here for another session of Rapid Fire. Jason has a party, joins us to handle the Melbourne activity. And of course, John Walter assisting me with the Sydney stuff. Boys.
G'day, big fella. How are you?
Afternoon. Yeah, good. Been a good week.
Love the jumper, mate. Looking very stylish.
Indeed. They come in all colours. It's bloody cold up here, mate. It's actually really cold for
where?
Queensland.
Come on. I was in Queensland last weekend watching the mighty Lions, and it was not cold at all. It was beautiful.
I'm tipping you weren't cold about 11 o'clock at night. You wouldn't have been cold.
I was tucking into bed at that time. Early start on the beers, so it was a long night, but an enjoyable one. Good trip.
And a result.
And a result. Just wanted to give a big shout out to one of our avid listeners, Big Gazza Brown. Wanted to say g'day, and I hope today gives you some ammo to land one of your big multis this weekend, mate.
We'll do our best to bring you some gold here. Okay, let's start off with the Makybe Diva in Melbourne, race 5 over 1,600 metres. And of course, this is a weight for age contest, and we're seeing some of a repeat of some of the runners, of course, out of the snap dancer race. So what have we got here, John, in terms of market?
Market 225. I'm Thunderstruck. $5 Alligator Blood. $5.50 Cascadian. $7 at Western Empire. $9.50 Mowoonga. $19 Regal Power. $31 She's Ideal. $34 Nonconformist. I got told it was going to be very wet, but now they're saying sort of 4 to 5 is a chance. Is that right?
Well, it's a 5 at the moment, so they say, and so of course that's a dead track. And I think Jason, when I had a look earlier, was forecast another possible 10 mil or so. Is that about right?
Yeah. There's a bit of rain around on Friday and also on Saturday, but
some showers into the meeting. So we may not get better than that.
I think 5 at the absolute best. I've sort of assumed a 6. But it's Flemington. It should race pretty true. As long as it doesn't rain in the few hours before race, then we should be okay.
Yeah, hopefully the inside will be okay and it'll be fair. So, and that's the sort of way I'm going to attack the program. The favourite here, Jason, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking I wish it won at $13 first up. So that was pretty heartbreaking. But, look, this is one of the best horses in Australia. I'm Thunderstruck. There's no doubt about that. A pro punter was on the phone to me about half an hour ago and telling me apparently there's people around who want to lay on Thunderstruck because of Barrier 1 on Saturday. I'll have to suss out who those people are on Twitter and take that up. This to me is an absolute standout. The only thing here is pace, and that's what you've got to assess. And I was shocked to see when I first looked at the fields, T. Clark on Alligator Blood. That did put a little bit of a shiver down my spine because I have enormous respect for him as a jockey. I think he's fantastic. So clearly he's engaged here, and with that trainer, they're going to look to go to the lead. But look, he actually hasn't had the speed to lead in his last few starts. So to think that he'll just rifle across to the front here, I think he will with the connections because he does look the obvious leader. So look, I've got Alligator Blood leading, Nonconformist sitting outside it, and I'm Thunderstruck is not an ant out of the barriers. It'll be leaders back here. Or there's even a possibility if Alligator Blood doesn't get away that Zara will take on Thunderstruck to the lead, I believe. He's clearly the best horse in the race. I'm not worried about Barrier 1. He could either get one off or he'll sit leaders back out of the gates here with a couple flopping out.
What about Western Empire, Jason, on the map?
Yeah, I think. D-Lane was super positive. So I've got him sort of one out, one back outside on Thunderstruck. D-Lane was very proactive on him in the Menzie, but he was criticised by a few because they believe that Western Empire is best going back and then finishing off races. So, but I don't really think he was going to want to go back and be behind horses like Cascadian here and have to give them a start with a slow speed. So I think D-Lane will have it one out, one back. But I just couldn't see him turning the tables I'm Thunderstruck, or even Cascadian, based on that last run. So, look, if you want to see how to run well in a 1,600 metre race at Flemington from Barrier 1, go back to the All-Star Mile. That's where I'm Thunderstruck due. He was ridden really well there, got out. The only thing that beat it with a better horse beat him on the day. That was Zaki. Zaki's not in this. I can't see him getting beat on Thunderstruck. It's just, I think people are saying he's going to start with a 3. If he starts with a 3, unload. I'm on at $4 13 days ago after the Menzie. So I'm sitting pretty there, but I'm happy to bet again at $3. I think it'll win. And I think Alligator Blood, obviously with the speed and the jockey, is a danger. And I'm just Cascadian. He's just a different horse. I just go look at his last 12 months of racing. They've all been superb runs, and I think he'll be rattling home. But for me, I'm Thunderstruck. Clearly, I can't see it getting beat.
Okay, so from my point of view, I do have the favourite clearly on top, like yourself, Jason. The only thing I'm worried about is the map. I'm just hoping that horses don't sort of shuffle him back, and if Western Empire gets in front of him on the fence, that could possibly be a problem, especially if there's rain during the meeting or showers during the meeting, and if it starts to chop out of it a little bit on the inside. So that's the only thing I'm worried about, but I wouldn't be laying it. So I still think that it's a great bet, assuming that the inside's fair. I would expect Alligator Blood to be more prominent, as we've discussed already. And look, I think that's just a total forget run first up. Don't assess it on that. Look at those 2 runs that it's had for Gay outside that. And I think if it gets back to sort of form around that mark, then it's the logical second pick for sure, as the market has it. And then Cascadian, who I did think, but in terms of data, came home slightly quicker, albeit only fractionally than I'm Thunderstruck the last 200 the other day, after settling back further behind it. And it does look like a logical third pick. Look, I'm against Western Empire at the price. It's currently about $6 or so. I think it should be double figures. And Mwanga, who's missed the run last week, look, I think that, it should be certainly longer than its current quote as well. Interesting to see what happens with She's Ideal here for the new stable, the Mars stable. So I'm just wondering, whether there might be a little bit of specking there. The synthetic filler comes off, it's first up, and we do know that stable is capable on its day. So not suggesting it could win, but if it fluked the place, it wouldn't totally shock me. But for me, the favourite definitely from Alligator Blood, who I think is a real danger, and Cascadian, the third pick. At this stage, I wouldn't be taking the 240. I'd be like you, Jason. I'd be waiting a little bit longer and seeing what happens. Okay, let's move on to race 7, which is the Elope Stakes over 1,400 metres. John, what's the market?
What is the great man? So he's got the inside word.
Hang on. Sorry, John. We've chopped you out.
Come on, it's the only reason I come on.
You've been chopped out just like he was last start.
I'm a bit like you. I've got a better price, but I think Alligator Blood was $8 each way on Tuesday, and I'm a bit like you. I've unloaded, so I think it's a great bet. I think you'll be on my back, and I think you're the danger. It does. I was talking to some people this morning too. They say it does lay in a bit. I'm Thunderstruck, especially sort of when he gets under pressure. So he probably just needs to be on his right behaviour, and I think they're the only 2 oaks. And if something goes wrong with Alligator, I'm Thunderstruck gets held up. Cascadian's probably the swooper, but I do think there's 2 hopes. I'm very happy to be on Alligator Blood each way. Obviously, that price is not around, so I'm same sort of boat as you guys now. The market's pretty right, I think.
Unbelievable bet, $8 each way, Alligator Blood. Unbelievable.
Okay, race 7.
We can
now move on, of course. John's given us the scoop there. Elope Stakes, race 7. John, what's the market look like?
Kiss on all 4 cheeks, $4, $4.20 Flying Mascot. I am Benet, $6.50, $8 Foxy Frida, $14 Lady of Honor, $16 Dragon Tea, Cuban Link 18, 20 Daisies, 21 Steinem, 26 Glint of Hope, 26 Yearning, 31 Elusive Express, 31 Fortunate Kiss, $67 for Toka Rangi and Rich Hips.
Well, I might start this one, Jason. Look, I'm a bit keen here on Flying Mascot. I think you totally forget that first up run, sat wide, no cover. If you go back to its form last preparation, then no doubt it's right up to its ears. And I think it races on speed here. Should be able to sit outside Lady of Honour and get all favours in the run. And on that basis, that would be my recommendation. I think currently the price is around about 7 to 2, John, I think you mentioned. That's a fair price. Kiss on All Four Cheeks. I mean, it's got a bit of a decision to make early and whether or not it's capable of pushing up and getting into a position. Otherwise, it could face a wide run. But I do have its second selection and I think is a genuine danger. I'm against I Am Bean or Benny. I think just the step up to 1,400 metres and the 28 days off just worries me just a touch. Look, I just think it's a bad price at about 5 to 1. I think it's worth gambling against. And another horse I've got in there who can fly fresh, mind you, will get back a bit, is Foxy Frida, who is some sort of chance at around the current quote, probably more of a place chance, I'd say. Lady of Honour, the leader, isn't hopeless and is some sort of hope as well. But for me, I think the bet's Flying Mascot. And that'll be the way I'd be going here. Jason?
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think she was a forget first up. I thought she was super. She's very wide on the speed, outside passive aggressive, giving them all weight. Forward on, Kissing All Four Cheeks did go past her in the last 100, but I think she's got more upside out of that run. This is a Group 1 mare. I'm confident of that. I think she's got a Group 1 in her. She pissed in on the soft on Cox Plate Day by 4.5 lengths. Beat Anna Visto, who's measured up in the Group 2 races in Sydney. She ran 5th in the Empire Rose, beaten 2 lengths behind Colette. That was a very strong last spring. Her autumn was fantastic. Just beat a lip by Probabile. They won 2 Group 3s. I think she's going to really jump out of the ground here, and I think at the 460 and $2, she's I can't see how she misses each way. Kiss on All Four Cheeks was a superb second up winner at Flemington this track and trip last prep. I thought she was good first up, and I think the key here is that was her first run for the new stable, Nick Ryan. For those who don't know Nick Ryan, he is an absolute gun, this bloke. Don't write him off because he's not as big a name as the others. Very astute trainer. He trains, his strike rate's exceptional. And as he starts getting better quality of horses in, he'll just start winning group races. She's just drawn sticky here, but there are a lot of that'll be a bit slow out the gates. I think you're going to back Zara again in if you like it. And the 2 horses I want to follow, probably not for this race, but into the spring, are Steinem. I don't think she's been handling those wet tracks in those Group 1s. She's a quality horse, and Foxy Frida is another quality horse. I just don't think Saturday's the day.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summation. John, what do you have to say here?
Yeah, I thought you spot like Flying Mascot just lobs in the right spot, gets a much better run, has the run under the belt. Kissing on Four Cheeks needs a lot more luck than it should to find the same sort of run. So for it to turn the tables, it's going to need a very good ride. But it's a race that scares me because I love backing these mares that are coming back from distances maybe they didn't get. So 2,000. So you've got sort of Yearning, Glyn of Hope, La Dragonetta, Elusive Express, Daisies, Foxy Frida, Tokarangi, all sorts of horses that I love sort of mucking around with first up 1,400. Sometimes they've been stretched too far, and once they sort of lob 14 fresh, they can jump out of the ground. So it's a race that scares the pants off me, but the obvious one's Flying Mascot, but it's a very scary race for mine.
Yeah, of course, don't forget to lead up. Excuse me, don't forget to lead a Lady of Honour at the 1,400 either. Okay, so let's move on to race 8, which of course is the Bobby Lewis. John, what's the market look like?
We've got Swats that well backed, $5 favourite, $6 for Ransacova, well up in grade, $7 Shooting for Gold, $9 Stage Man, $9.50 Serious Suspect, $9.50 The Astrologist, $14 Baller, $15 Red Can Man, Rockin' Horse, $17, 21 Graceful Girl, 21 Hard Fire, 21 Zootori, 26 Rohirrim, 61 Pole, and $91 Chat and Holbein.
Jason, you can go first here. Pretty open contest.
Yeah, I mean, these straight races are few of these, I'm not sure they're going to go on a genuine soft track, which makes this race even harder than it is. Look, I've gone again. I don't want to not very helpful for a preview show, but I've snipped Swats that during the week at double figure odds. It opened $21. Whoever got that, well done. I'm sort of on at the 11 and 13s. But this has got the ultimate gear change here, and that's Troy Corsten's off, Kieran Ma on. He's had that many of these horses that he's improved. Let's just know this guy is triple A as a trainer. This stable, they are lethal. She's always been thereabouts. She ran second to Nature Strip in the Darley. She's run second in the Coolmore. Look, I acknowledge she needs to start winning a race. She really, it's been a long time between drinks, but she has been competitive at Group 1 level over quite a few seasons down the straight. 1,200 metres first up is a bit of a query, but look at her trial and jump out since she's gone to this stable. And Mellum is, in the second one, he's dead set strangling out, trying to hide it, I reckon. Not that jockeys bet, but maybe some of his family took the $21. So we know they don't bet. They just go in spars. But anyway, a story for another day. So I really like Swats that, especially at the price I'm on. Some of the other chances, I thought Rockin' Horse was over the odds at $21. Won a Newmarket down here, albeit it was on the minimum. First up 1,000 metres at the Valley, went back to last, ran home okay by Bella Nipotina. Is going to have fitness here. I couldn't really have it at a $21 chance. And then it's just how easy Serious Suspect and the astrologist get it in the lead. If they walk in front and sprint their chances, and Serious Suspect's got fitness on his side. So I wouldn't talk you out of those two either. But I think Swats that. If you take the each way odds, I think she's ready to go here. I've actually spec'd her for the champion sprint at $101 as well. I think if she comes out, wins this easy, and Kieran can really fulfil this, take her forward a few lengths, she's a Group 1 horse.
John.
Yeah, I thought Serious Suspect was just the obvious in a hard race. Just like you say, if it can get control, hard fit. I like the way it sort of just put them away its last two, so it can't be going any better. And if it gets a soft run, it's got fitness and be hard to catch. Got excited, not excited, but I thought Baller was very interesting when I saw it was in the field. And, gate one, very tough. If Zara gives it the same ride that he gave that horse, Verenskova last start from that inside draw, it's interesting, but it's going to need a great ride. And I was like, Swats that sort of stood out the stable change, but then I sort of checked the price and it was already well and truly off by then. So Serious Suspect for me is the most obvious, just going to be in the right spot, hard fit and certainly racing well.
I've got it 9-2 to field. I've actually marked Swats at favourite at 9-2. So yes, they did bet a good price, and no, I didn't get the $21 that they put up there. So good luck for those that did. Serious Suspect, I think, is a genuine danger. The 35 days off is pretty much exactly the same. Is the same as its last start win. It was 35 days off here, track and distance, and has fitness edge. So really going well, this horse. Genuine danger. I thought Shooting for Gold is just a slight question mark for mine, being able to run those figures at over 1,200 metres. I've sort of marked it just over the double figures mark. And I thought the Astrologist definitely fits in well here, goes well this track and distance. And, if it's fit and it doesn't get too much pressure up front, then definitely it's a great each way hope. Baller, I'm against. I just don't think it reached its heights of its previous preparation last prep, on my numbers anyway, and that's what worries me here. I don't think that 10-1 is the right price. It should be a lot longer. The horse you mentioned, Jason, Rockin' Horse, I've sort of marked it around about the market price, so I don't see any real edge there. I thought a horse that has only had, 2 runs back this prep, and its last start win I thought was pretty good, was Hard Empire. Now, I know it's 35 days off here, which is against it, but it does seem to definitely have the numbers to feature, depending on whether or not that 35 days off is going to kill it. I have marked it down slightly for that, but I do think the 20-1 is probably over the odds for it. So for me, Swatsat is the pick. I think you could make a book here, Serious Suspect, The Astrologist, and Hard Empire. They're mine.
What did you do with Red Can Man here, Paul, from a rating/price perspective? I thought it was ridden shockingly last start. They should have taken a sit on it and thought it may improve, but may just be a 1,400-metre horse.
Look, if you go on his form last preparation, you'd have to put him in there at around about the market price for sure. It stopped pretty quick, and that worries me. Look, yes, it could improve, but from my point of view, I'm risky. I've marked it 66-1.
And Stage Man, it was unlucky last start, held up and flew home in a sort of trot and canter.
Once again, it's second up, so it's coming off a decent spell and second up, 35 days off, which I don't think is ideal. I have penalised it slightly for that. It does get the blinkers again, but of course it's new trainer, i.e. Danny O'Brien, second run it. I don't think the blinkers again is necessarily a plus. Look, I think it's under the odds currently.
Okay.
It's some sort of each way chance, but yeah, it's definitely under the odds, I think.
Okay.
So that's Flemington Punters. Let's talk about Top Sport. We're of course going to move across to New South Wales in a minute. John, if you don't have punters, if you don't have your Top Sport account set up, of course, these are the limits for New South Wales betting. All limits apply from the time they go up, and of course they do get bigger when there's better races on offer, which of course there are this weekend. So we're talking about I think $10,000 limit late in New South Wales. So get yourself sorted there. Contact Tristan or one of the team, and they'll get you fixed up if you haven't already done so. Okay, so let's get on to Rosehill.
Run to the Rose is the first one we're doing.
Which race have we got coming up, John? Sorry, race.
The Run to the Rose, I think.
Yep.
Race
of course it is. It is. Race 7, Run to the Rose. Market, John.
Weird market, $3.90 to $3.70 best of Bordeaux, $4.60 Natuno, $5.50 in secret, $6 Fireburn, $9.50 Sejardin, $9.50 Swiss Exile, $17 last start winner Sweet Ride, $19 Political Debate, $34 Prometo, $41 Wanos Notches.
Look, in terms of track here, the 5 metre position, Rosehill, currently we're looking reasonably okay, aren't we, weather-wise, John?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? So, maybe a dead track at best.
Should be close to a 5, I think. Yeah, something around.
Yeah. So,
a bit of rain around tomorrow.
There is
if it
potential.
does, then we're back into the 6 range probably. But dead to slow track anyway. Look, in terms of the form out of these runners, best of Bordeaux. That was a bit disappointing first up. I know it didn't get things all its own way. I think buttering up at 11 for the second up after that first up run is a risk. I'd be against it. In fact, at the current price, I'll be opposing it. If it is that price, Natuno is my top pick in the race. I think it gets a run on the fence, which I think will be an advantage. Rails and run here at the 5 metres. And you want to be probably getting off the fence in the straight though. I do have it on top. Fireburn, of course, it's the question of how it's come back. These 2-year-olds resuming as 3-year-olds, always a risk in terms of age improvement. In Secret, of course, is another horse that I think has got a great chance in this. And Swiss Exile and Sweet Ride are definitely in this with hopes as well. I think it's a pretty open race. I think the one to bet around is Best of Bordeaux. John.
Yeah, it's probably one of the weirdest races I've ever seen because if you watch the replay, Sweet Ride had its chance, but it was pretty dominant there last time over most of these horses, and it's $21 or close enough to it in this race, which is really strange. You can definitely make a case that Best of Bordeaux was if nothing but a complete forgive first up, and if it, I would assume they're going to lead here. As long as anything, something crazy doesn't happen, they'll intend to lead this race, and it can improve. It's the sort of horse that you'd expect would be sort of $7 or $8 off that sort of run though, and I probably would have backed it then, but obviously we're not getting that price. The horses around it, Swiss Excel, I thought was probably the other one that would camp up on speed and they could control the tempo and run well. Natuno gets a nice run. I couldn't really make excuses for it or find improvement for it. So then you go back to Sir Jardin and Fireburn, who are going to give the leaders what could be, 6-7 length start. So for me, it's an impossible race, even in Secret, who's probably not up to them quality-wise. You would have thought if that race that Sweet Ride won is just terrible, maybe it's just going to lob third, fourth, and fitness is enough to see it in the finish as well. It's just a very difficult race for mine. I couldn't find any sort of angle. I want to find Best of Bordeaux, but I want $7 or $8, which you're not going to get.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I say I have to oppose it on price. So at 11 to 4, it's a lay. If it drifts obviously significantly longer, then I would be reassessing. But look, right now at the market prices as they stand, I think the value probably lies in Natuno and Sweet Ride, but not compelling value, but certainly some value there. Jason, what do you have to say about this race?
Yeah, I think it was a torturous race to do. I spent ages on it. I think the best horse in the race can't win, and that's Political Debate. I think he'll be the one to follow out of it. Certainly from a Caulfield Guineas perspective, that's what I'll be looking at. Just a horse you haven't mentioned, so I'll just query both of you on. When I did the race, I love a younger horse that trials against older horses and looks good, and that was Sir Jardin. I could see it going back here and then maybe getting a rails run if they fan. But none of you guys have mentioned it. I thought all its fresh runs have been pretty strong in its career, so I was keen to get your views on it.
I did only thing I mentioned. I think the best two horses in the race, Sir Jardin and Fireburn, from what we've seen, but they're both going to be 6-7 off the lead. So I just don't know what. It's going to be a very, very difficult task. If it gets the old collet, no left turn and gets up the fence and something, absolutely. Anything like that could happen. I wouldn't be surprised with the other horse. You talked about Political Debate doing something similar, probably not Pikes Go, but I wouldn't be surprised with what it did.
I'm much longer Sir Jardin, Jason, much longer.
And when was the last time a Golden Slipper winner won another race as a 3-year-old? It was a long time ago, I think.
Long time ago, but this horse seems to have a little bit more depth to it than, say, a Capitalist and those sorts of horses in recent times, I think. And this certainly is not a vintage 3-year-old year where there's horses that have jumped out of the ground either.
Be a lot to learn from this.
Agree.
Put it this way, if Sir Jardin's 7 to 1 tomorrow, I'll be standing it.
I love it when you talk like
dirty.
That. You talk dirty, didn't you? Love it.
Okay, race 8 for Theo Marks. John, what have we got?
Mr. Mozart, $3.50, Ellsberg, $3.80, $8 Jamea, and $11 Kementari, 11 Prime Candidate, 15 Rustic Steel, a Tissue 16, Kikus 19, Colding 21, Tycoonist 21 from Gate 12, 26 Big Boy Roy 41, Brutality 4 Home 2 51.
Do you want to start this one, John?
Oh, I can start because I'll be pretty brief. I think Mr. Mozart certainly gets the right sort of run. So does Ellsberg. They're both horses that race well at this stage of their preparation. They're both going to get the right run. Could I take $3.40 or $3.80 about either of them? Absolutely not. And then the map behind them is just diabolical for me. There's like 10 horses that are going to try to find similar positions. Colding, Jamea, they're just horses that are hard to back. Kementari, where's he going to be? He showed a little bit more quality last prep. Consistency is probably the word. But, I think it's pretty obvious that the two horses that get the right runs, Mr. Mozart and Ellsberg, are going to be in the right spots, which takes them a long way, and I don't think their value. So it's a bit of a stalemate for me, this race.
Yeah, look, I'm exactly the same. I've got Mr. Mozart favourite over Ellsberg. I wouldn't be taking the $3.40 currently on offer, but, that's not necessarily an unfair price, mind you, but I just don't think there's any compelling edge there because I could easily have it longer than what I've got it. So that's what probably makes me stay out. Prime Candidate, is going to be there in front possibly and bobbing away, but is a place chance at best. Kamantari, certainly, if it ran up to that figure at Randwick first up last prep, then it could be right in this finish. But I suppose we'll learn more from the market. If there was suspecting for it, in the last 5 minutes of betting, then I'd be wanting to save on it if I was playing in the race. But and then of course even Kiku, I mean, where's he going to get to from that gate? That's the worry for it. But it's not hopeless either. And yeah, look, it's a tricky race. I couldn't recommend a bet at this stage. Jason?
Yeah, I've got Prime Candidate going pretty hard in front here from one and trying to use its fitness to steal this. I thought Mr. Mozart trialled much better than Ellsberg. I couldn't possibly have Ellsberg. And I like Mr. Mozart as a horse. Its 3-year-old form in Melbourne around the Caulfield Guineas was strong. I think it went to the next level last prep. Then the other one I thought on, if it's rails in run and might run on with that hot speed, I thought Jamea on the limit here. I acknowledge she's always running on and a bit hard to catch, but the only two bets I could have are Mr. Mozart and Jamea.
Yeah, look, if Mr. Mozart gets to a better price and it's sold in the betting, then I could entertain it. But first up is the only thing that worries me. They're 1,300, so, but still deserves to be a favourite. Okay, race 9, or should I say, yeah, it is race 9 that we're up to, of course, which is the Sheraco Stakes. John, what's the market?
Time-honoured Sheraco Stakes. Rachel King back on Shades of Rose, $3.10. James McDonald off Shades of Rose, onto Espiona, $3.30, $7.50 Bella Nipotina, $12 my Whisper, $16 It's Me, $18 Dartontes, $19 for Toos, $21 Electric Girl, $21 Palasa, that's the horse that drove me mad in Brisbane over the carnival and kept winning. Sky Command, $26, $34 Sneaky Page, $41 Tycoon Evie, $81 Papali.
Well, there you go, J-Mac off, but I'm still with Shades of Rose despite that. I've got it clearly on top, and I think it's the bet in the race. I mean, Espiona, if it ran up to its figure at Flemington when it won by 6.5, it would win this race easily. The question is whether it can. So from my point of view, it's obviously the second pick, but I don't see any value in it. Bella Nipotina, it's going to get a reasonable run, I would think. But it's probably going to have to push the button early to try and get in if it wants to. If it goes back, then it's probably out of play. It's Me. What do we say about it at 1,200 metres? Do you think it'll run the strong 1,200, John?
I think it's definitely got it in it. It's a 1 over so far. It's 1 over 12 going 1,000 to 12, but that was sort of fourth run in its prep. I don't think it's going to have an issue. 1,000 to 12. Second up is more difficult for sure, and where it gets to is probably the more dangerous thing. It's going to have to make a long run, isn't it, and run down some pretty good horses.
Look, it's probably a place hope for me more than anything else, and even Old Star Tontes with Jay Collett there first up, I wouldn't be surprised to see it run some sort of a race if it was fancied. But for me, the clear bet here is Shades of Rose, and I'll just close my eyes and hope Rachel does the right thing.
Well, that's
Jason.
probably it, right? Like, I guess it's drawn the gate. If you could choose a barrier for it with her on it, this would be it, the widest gate. And, Sky Command probably takes the front. A couple of horses under it that could drive it a little bit mad if it doesn't get away clean. Bella Nipotina and Tycoon Evie if they want to roll forward. I just think we find out on Saturday how big a difference J-Mac is to a horse from another jockey. And I'd be, if you can run on it all, I think Espiona's will beat it, and I think Rachel will carve Shades of Rose. So that's kind of my line of thought. She gave it a horrible steer the time she was on it. I know it was probably in a different frame of mind there, but James has given it some very nice rides since, and it's had everything go its way. Been extremely impressive in doing that, but I think Espiona's a different kettle of fish to anything she's taken on. So be interested to see what the betting does. And I think $3 or whatever it is at the moment, Espiona I wouldn't be taking. I'd be waiting to see whether you can run on down the middle and what sort of price you'll get, because I think everyone will gravitate Paul's way because it's the better option at the moment. Rosehill races more on pace. This horse should be up on speed again, and it can you would only think firm while the other should drift.
Well, I'm £4 difference between J-Mac and Rachel King right now, so that's my interpretation.
And you're still siding with Rachel, so that shows how much you've got. Yeah, I respect that completely.
Jason.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree. I see why you're saying that, but yeah, just in my experience, when you go up just against the better quality animals, even if you've done it at a lower grade, and I get the times, I get the ratings, I'm happy to take them on. I don't think the prices are wrong necessarily. It's just a favourite that I'm happy to bet against. I think Espiona's an absolute star.
I was wondering who you were disagreeing with. Then I was getting all excited to see who it was because we were.
I don't think it's a flawed tip. It's just not the way I bet. Espiona, I even think if Bella Nipotina can sit 3 wide here, sort of, not too far back. Don't give her too big a task. She could win on ability. And I'm just going to call out a horse here. Probably can't win this, but my whisper, don't worry that she ran in a 2,000 metre Group 1 last start. I think she was probably stretched further than she needs to go. I think this horse has enormous ability, / she could be a star. And look at her trials. I just had, the one where she jumped on the speed behind Malkovich and crossed the line with Lost and Running. She's ready to go here. As I said, not sure if this is a race, but I certainly won't be losing on her, and I think she's got a very good race in her.
If it was 1,400, I think that horse would nearly just be winning. The one you just said,
maybe, yeah. I don't know what the target is. I'm watching. I think it's just too strong. It's just come up too strong for her. This, I think, but if she's running well, I'll be looking for that second up 1,400 metre, and I could see her winning a mile handicap at some stage in her career.
Hang on.
This girl. Oh, we lost a big fella.
He's not happy. You've disagreed with him and he's left the building.
He's gone off to back it in the Epsom before I could.
I don't know what he's gone off to watch a North replay. Is he going to come back?
Oh, I'm sure
we are done. I don't know whether we wait for him or not. Here he's back. He's back. Hang on, here he is.
Sorry about that. Small interruption to the service there, but I missed that last bit, Jason.
I just said, look, I'm not sure that tomorrow's the day, and maybe second up 1,400 metre is her go. But I do think she's potentially got a mile Group 1 in her career. We'll see where she goes.
I think this could be the wrong race. I mean, yeah. I've marked it a bit longer than the current market, so I'm not saying it hasn't got a chance, but I've got to side with the favourite and take the risk on Espiona. I mean, if Espiona was very heavily backed, that would be scary for me. And so at this stage, I think, I don't think there's any rush to jump into the 9 to 4 or whatever it is, shows a rose, but that's mine. Okay, so let's talk about best bets. So we've covered those 6 races. Jason, what's your feeling here?
Yeah, I don't know if best bets because, they're a bit shorter now, but, I'm feeling, Flemington, it's the old thing. You're feeling really good about it. And then, 5-20 to 1 shots win during the day and you walk out with your tail between your legs. That's the beauty of the place, I think, is gives everyone the chance and the fields are so deep all day that, nothing's surprising. I don't think there's a surprise in the Makybe Diva. I think what we've covered, we can't really miss, but we've pretty much covered most of the market. And I like Flying Mascot and Swats that, but they're, really competitive races. And throughout the day, I think there's, just a lot of strength throughout the card, and it's just a great entry to the Spring Carnival now. It's really the thick of things, and with the shocking trucks in Sydney, I think it's really going to play into Victoria's hands this Spring Carnival, which is great being a Victorian, and the deliberate attempt to try and trash the carnival is not working, and long may it continue.
Nothing in Sydney that you're prepared to hang your hat on?
No, I think I'll leave it to the experts. I've had a few points, but I just at the moment, I just battle with the rain and the bias to be confident of anything this far out. It's just, it's a little bit deflating, to be honest. I was just sitting there last Saturday with my fingers crossed, hoping Annabelle Neesham would scratch my wunga because I'd had a significant bet on it, and I was so glad that she did because it had absolutely none. So that was what I did for most of Saturday, other than cheering Mr. Brightside home.
What about you, John?
Yeah, I'm probably going to leave Sydney alone too. I'm still, I think I'm same as Jason. I'm like, $8 each way is a great bet. Alligator Blood, happy to be sitting on it, but I can't bet I wouldn't bet into the prices as they are. And Sydney's just, like I said, like the rails at Rosehill. I know the True's a little bit different to the 5 metre, absolutely, but it's normally fine no matter how wet the track is, and it's been cast lately. So as much as I love Rosehill as a really consistent track, it's just been a weird year, and I don't really want to play before I get to see a race or two when you don't have to. So that's the beauty of it. And if they're running on, I'll be backing Espiona. If they're not, I'll be cheering for other people on Shades of Rose to get home.
Yeah, look, if it's difficult to run on, then definitely Shades of Rose is my best. And I just think that Rachel King presents a situation whereby you're getting value for the horse that's drawn ideally, I think, out there in a wide gate. So I've got to stay with it unless there's a reason to change my mind Saturday. But that's my best anyway. Okay, punters, we'll be back on Monday for the review show. And thanks for your participation today, Jason, and of course, John. And we'll see you then.
Thanks, boys. Pleasure.